Oh. Just a minute. You think I'm to blame for Dean's death?
Yeah.
I'm not. But if I were, I'd expect a bit of sympathy from you, Jimmy. You know exactly how it feels.
Are you all right?
You don't seem like this, okay?
Right. What's up?
Wilbur was a mate of mine. Gets to me now and again.
No one's blaming you.
Why should they? What for? What do you know? What have you heard?
Albie gave you a load of bullshit. You let him go. He killed Wilbur. No one's blaming you.
Pass off! So, you told everyone
What?
that Wilbur's death was down to me.
I didn't. I didn't.
Then it was you.
Wrong.
You're lying.
Look, if you want to talk to somebody about this...
Oh, Christ.
You know what I'm going to say. But I'm going to say it anyway, right?
Right.
If you hadn't poked your nose in, that lad would still be alive. And Joanne's death would be solved. Everything would be boxed off.
Boxed off?
Yeah, boxed off. Dean killed himself. Joanne died terminating the pregnancy. Case closed.
Dean killed himself because Joanne was murdered. There's more reason than ever for keeping the case open. Punch his bloody pilot would know more about it. I haven't been paid yet.
I need an invoice.
Any chance of a sub?
No chance.
You're wrong. Joanne was murdered, and I'll prove it. This isn't necessary, you know. I'm just winding wise up. I'll manage, always have done, always will do. I do not need charity. I've just got to get on with my life, pay my bills, and lock the guilt monster away in the cellar until I feel strong enough to grapple with it.
How long will that be? How many beasts are locked up down there? How long before they break down the door and tear you apart?
No, that's me talking. I'm the doctor, you're the policewoman, remember? Do you see me directing the traffic? No, do you know why? It's not my area of expertise. Do not talk nuts to a monkey.
Let's stop talking shit to a panhandle. I'm your friend, aren't I? Believe me, charity does not come into it. Is 250 enough? You can give it back to me when I lock pay you.
Thanks. Look, I know it's a bit early, but...
Yeah, but I could do with a drink as well.
I keep seeing him there. In that cell, alone. What he must have felt.
Michael, what's done is done.
Should never have involved him.
Michael, don't blame yourself. It's not your fault.
But it is. If Michael had done what he was supposed to do, the boy would never have been arrested and we wouldn't be in this mess.
Kenneth's right, Michael.
However, as he died in police custody, my instinct tells me they'll be eager to close the case.
Oh, Kenneth, do you think so?
I'm sure of it. Just wish I could be as sure of Dr. Fitzgerald. But remember what we agreed. We speak as a group, with one voice. As long as we're a group, we're invulnerable.
I haven't done this in ages. Not with someone.
Me neither.
Not with Judith.
I can't remember the last time. I always used to, and then sometimes we just stopped. 85. To Rioja. I think it's over, me and Judith. Really. This time, over.
sure this is all right?
A big, wide, generous letterbox. I rest my case.
I think I should go, don't you?
No.
There's so much going on for you, Fitz. I don't think that
I need you.
I'll back you, Fitz, with Wise, with Jimmy, with anyone.
Not that way.
How?
You know.
I don't.
Already anticipating failure. The retreat. Make me say everything, and then you can absolve yourself from any responsibility. You didn't.
Please don't, Fitz.
Okay, I'll do it to me. I'll bring you into my home, having taken every precaution to ensure that it's as inhospitable as possible. What message am I sending then? I'm giving you every chance, every opportunity for an escape route. Which means, of course, that then I can blame it all on you. I tried. She led me along, but she couldn't stay the distance. Look, I'm still covered in bruises from the last time, all the mistakes I made, so just make my life easy and go away, will you? Just leave me alone, bugger off. I think I love you. One 9-inch margarita with anchovies.
You bastard!
What?
You've got the cheek to say a thing like that.
9-inch margarita with anchovies.
I don't like anchovies.
Kenneth, do you really think they'll leave us alone now?
Oh, I'm sure they will. It'll soon be over, this whole nightmarish thing. Darling, I'm so sorry. I'm so deeply sorry. I was weak, and I fell. Virginia, I'm not worthy of you. But I will never make that mistake again.
I know.
I do love you. I love you so much.
Are you sure?
No.
Crappy paper, crappy cup of coffee. Molly? We never did have that little chat, did we? Oh, God. I'm sorry.
Does Mum know?
No, not yet. Your mother left me, if you remember.
Eh? No, she didn't. She didn't leave. You drove her away because you're a dickhead.
Yes, well, that's a fair summary of the facts, probably.
I'm older than her.
Hardly. What do you expect me to do? Spend the rest of my life like Cliff bloody Richard?
That's my mother's.
See ya.
Morning. Where are we keeping the pile of drawings found in Dean's bed?
Cabinet. Only they found his wardrobe.
Yeah.
You said his bed.
No, I didn't.
Yes, she did. Didn't she?
Dean's bed, you said, yeah?
What are you trying to say?
You're doing the talking.
No. No, come on, lads. Spit it out.
Who was on top?
That's my fees to date.
No problems there. I expect you prefer cash.
Fitz would like another week on Joanne Barnes.
No chance. She's at the colonel in 2 days' time.
Well, give it till then.
Next one in it up now.
2 people have died, boss. They both belong to the same religious sect, which includes Kenneth Trant, who was Joanne's headmaster, and Michael Trant, who was Dean's boss. Fitz would like to interview all 4 Trants, and I think we should agree to that.
You're asking me to gamble police time and money.
Navarro quits. I'll get a confession.
Okay, I'll give you 48 hours.
I'm Penhaligon.
Take back.
No, Beck's no good to me. Can't handle us the way I work. Beck's too old-fashioned, too Starsky and Hutch. She's only got one tune. I can't do it without her. I'll give you odds, 4 to 6.
1 to 2.
God, you're rundier than Ladrose.
1 to 2, you get a confession.
Done. You know Joanne was a Catholic?
No.
Oh, yes, very devout Catholic, according to a parish priest. She's a member of the Legion of Mary and attended regularly for benediction and confession. Never missed a Sunday Mass. Till last Christmas. Whoever drew her to your church must have had a tremendous attraction for her.
I'm sure he did. God.
Acting through your husband.
Yes. Drawing her to the Bible.
You don't think it's perhaps possible that it wasn't the Bible that attracted her, but your husband?
Dr. Fitzgerald, she was a 17-year-old girl. My husband is
A 46-year-old pin-up.
Kenneth. A pin-up.
I had a crush on my music master at her age, and he was no spring chicken. You know what girls are like at that age.
I don't. I never found out.
Mrs. Trant, your husband is a very attractive man. I suppose it is just possible that Joanne might, well, have fancied him a bit.
I never noticed anything to suggest that, and I'm sure Kenneth didn't.
He did say that she was a shy, withdrawn sort of a girl, not the sort of girl to flaunt her feelings.
Maybe, but that doesn't prove...
No, we're not trying to prove anything, Mrs. Trant. We can't ask Joanne how she felt, so we're asking you. We're just thinking out loud. Just wondering if perhaps there's a possibility, the remotest possibility, that Joanne fancied your husband, even though he wasn't aware of it.
It seems very unlikely.
So it's possible.
I didn't say that.
So you're saying it's absolutely impossible.
I didn't say that. I didn't say it was absolutely impossible. I didn't say that.
I think you're not saying quite a few things. Can you live with that?
I haven't done anything wrong.
No, but somebody has, and you know who. Don't you think you've got a duty to tell us?
I know where my duty lies, Doctor. I have always tried to live a
Joanne Barnes is lying stiff on a slab. Got marks all over her body left by some sick, demented soul.
Please, I don't want to hear this.
Her parents are banging the floor with grief. A good girl, Joanne. They kept saying that.
Can't you
It's the
stop
sick
him?
bastard who is responsible for this good girl's death. Joanne is dead. Dean is dead. What does it amount to, this decency of yours?
£37,642 in the present financial year.
That much.
18,400 cancer research. 6,904 cerebral palsy. £2,005 23p to the church restoration. £1,116 help the aged. Around 1,000 each to cystic fibrosis, guide dogs for the blind, children in need, and the police, widows and orphans. Plus several smaller cash payments to the local old, infirm and needy. I'm currently collecting for cancer research. Perhaps a donation might be in order.
But you caught me a bit short, Mrs. Trent.
She's lying.
She's loyal.
Next stop, Normas.
No. Next up, Sarah.
Please come me £1
You said 50 pence.
each way.
Come on, Brian. More effort. Good clearance. Good clearance.
You don't find it better talking out here?
Yes.
Mr. Trant seems to get on very well with the kids. Yeah. The only time our teachers ever spoke to us was to threaten us with hellfire or detention, which was slightly worse.
Well, Mr. Trent's not like that.
Oh, you're lucky. You find you can talk to him okay? I mean, he doesn't mind if you come and tell him your troubles, so...
Oh, no. I mean, he doesn't mind. No, he likes to know what's going on. He likes you to go and talk to him.
Mr. Grogan, my history teacher. Well, the teacher said, it's the exams. It's a rough time. Don't suffer. It only takes a moment to go and see the principal. Yeah, and 3 hours to get out. He used to call him Tappet. Somebody had once said that he'd wash in the brain or something. He was barking, absolutely barking. But Grogan was different. He always seemed to know exactly what you were going through without the subject ever arising, you know? He used to make you cups of tea in these wee cubbyhole. Get the ashtray out. Made you feel human, you know? That's what I call a real teacher. I'm surprised you prefer to talk to us here.
Why? It's fascinating. New experience for me.
Virginia Trant told us she thought it possible that Joanne fancied her husband a bit. What do you think?
Fancied him? Did Ginny say that?
What do you reckon?
Bit of a giggle. I'm not sure, but I think she was a bit upset about it.
Upset? About a schoolgirl taking a shine to Kenneth. She'd have had to be pretty insecure to feel upset about that.
Was she? Insecure?
Well, you've met Kenneth. Any woman married to him might feel a bit insecure, but he never gave her any cause.
How'd you know?
Well, Ginny would have told me. Anyway, he didn't.
Don't you think Kenneth would have been flattered by Joanne's patch? Might even encouraged it. A middle-aged man, getting the eye from a 16-year-old girl, a pretty girl. Don't you think he might have got a kick out of that? I know I would.
He didn't notice. And he didn't need those kicks.
So who got Joanne pregnant?
If not Kenneth, you mean?
If not Kenneth.
For a psychologist, you're a pretty poor judge of character.
I'm better with women, aren't I?
Dean made Joanne pregnant. He was sweet on her. You should have seen him at the meetings. He couldn't take his eyes off her, always pointing at her. He was crazy about her. You knew that, didn't you?
Oh, yes, crazy about her. Crazy for her, maybe. But crazy in his head, only in his head. Classic hopeless romantic passion. He idealized her, but he never laid a finger on her. Dean never had a proper relationship with Joanne.
He came to the house one weekend when Michael was away. He knew he was away, of course. Anyway, he pushed past me down the hallway into the sitting room, sat on my sofa. He had grease on his trousers. I wondered if it would wash off the sofa. He had his eyes closed and he was chanting from the Bible. I didn't pay it much attention. To be honest, it doesn't mean that much to me. I'm not sure that I believe at all. I made a mistake. I got too close. He touched me. I didn't like it. I told him. Still, his hands. I pushed him away. He came back. He wouldn't let go. He was hurting, and all the time this Bible stuff. And then the words changed to personal things about my body, you know. Crude, crass words for things. I walked out of the room, out of the house, into the town. Came home in the evening. Nothing was missing. Dean was never a thief. There was no sign that he'd ever been there. Well, save for the stain on the sofa.
And Michael, what did he say? You did tell him?
No. I didn't want to upset him. I didn't want to hurt him, to get him into any trouble.
Kind.
You don't believe me, do you? Why should I make it up?
To divert attention from Kenneth. Did you meet him through Virginia?
Yes. We were at school together. We met then.
Ah, she saw him first.
There was never anything between Kenneth and me.
Nothing fulfilled. But you married him.
He didn't ask me. He asked Virginia.
And Michael asked you. That wasn't the question. You're obviously very attracted to Kenneth. You ever think if you'd married him?
No point in thinking.
Let's take it as read, then, that Kenneth Trant may have harboured thoughts about Joanne. She's a young girl, saw a lot of her. Who could blame her for having those thoughts? The question, the life with a recommendation of a minimum of 20 years question is, did he act upon them?
Tell me, Doctor, is a man happier who acts on his instincts or who represses them? When you lit that cigarette, I know that look.
I don't think it's got anything...
You knew it too, and you were jealous as hell because he lit my cigarette.
I'm sure I have nothing to teach you about jealousy.
Could I have another one, please?
You love him, don't you?
Who?
Kenneth.
Kenneth?
Kenneth, you love him. You've always loved him. You've always loved him, ever since that first dance at the church hall. What was it, Mungo Jerry with David Essex? You remember. You remember. You fell for him then. You fell in love with him, and you've been in love with him ever since.
No!
And then he went and married Virginia. The idiot. He'd been so much happier if he married you.
Kenneth and Virginia have a very happy marriage.
Did Kenneth Trant have sex with Joanne Barnes?
No.
Cross your heart and hope to die.
I'm beginning to think that you're jealous of Kenneth. He is just not that sort of a man. He has never been unfaithful to Virginia.
With any other girl?
Any girl, any woman. You can keep the cigarettes, thanks.
Do you know Sarah Jennings?
Sarah?
Schoolmate of Joanne's. Classmate, actually.
Out of all the girls at school, he picked me. He's always wanted a child and she could never have them, so as soon as I leave school, we're going to live together. He's a wonderful man. I feel special when he's there. He loves me more than anything. I'll never want anyone else. Oh, Kenneth's wonderful. I love him. I love him.
Right, so the paper shredded and drops down, then the hydraulic ram compresses it. It comes out of the block. What happens then?
It goes to recycling.
Right. We saw your wife this morning. She dropped into the station for a chat. She was dressing in the church hall earlier, she was telling us. She had pollen all over her fingers. What's the attraction of all these new religious groups? Rock combos singing for Jesus. One world weirdos, Bible thumpers. I'm a left foot to myself. Last. We didn't read the Old Testament. Do you believe all these old Hebrew stories are true? I mean, literally true. Every word.
Yes. It's honestly.
Your wife thinks it's a load of old rubbish. So she only goes to the company, see her pals, see Kenneth. Like other people go to the pub, she said. Just an excuse to get out of the house. Do you go to the pub, Michael? Don't mind me calling you Michael, do you?
No.
Smoke. You don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't gamble. What do you do, Michael? Sex, is that your scene? Come on, Michael, a sly wank in front of Baywatch on a Saturday night's hardly a mortal sin. You go to church, it's like going to the laundrette. There's no point in going unless you've got some stains that you need to wash away. And you're the one that believes in whiter than white, aren't you? Me, I'll back dishcloth grey is pretty well the colour of everything. You're not a good man, Michael. But you're not a bad one. You're somewhere in between, just like the rest of us. Go on, admit it. Admit to that chocolate bar underneath your pillow. Admit to taking the change when you're undercharged. Admit to lust, envy, avarice. I do. And you have to admit to all those things, Michael, before you can admit to what you did to Joanne.
Carry on with your soliloquy. I've got 2 men's work to do.
How long have you been a member of the church, Michael?
10 years.
Who introduced you? No, don't tell me. Kenneth, big brother, he joined, so you had to join. You always do what he does? Correction. Always try to do what he does. But you can't, can you? You don't have the charm. What was it like competing in the sex market with somebody like Kenneth? God, I ache for you. It must have been murder. Always second best, always second choice. Even to the woman you married. Of course, you and Norma were well matched. She was always second choice, too. See, Virginia, her best pal, Virginia, the belle of the ball. Virginia introduced Norma to Kenneth. He swept her off her feet. She fell head over heels, madly in love with him. And the years have not altered her. She still burns for him, still longs to touch him. She's still as obsessed with him now as she was when she first met him. She admits it. She brags about it. She told us this morning, didn't she?
Yes. I had to feel sorry for her.
How does it feel, Michael? Your wife loves another man. Always has done.
I know.
You know.
I knew when I married her. If you'll excuse me, I have to see to the waste collection.
People are built like this.
You're pathetic, spending your days like this.
You can call me anything, but do not call me fat. I was built for comfort. I was not built for speed.
You should know better.
But baby, I'll give you everything you're gonna need.
You haven't played that one for years?
Always made your mother laugh.
Yeah, I've just left her.
Have you? Where? Where? Boy, come back here. You're not too old for a skill.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you probably are. I never hit you anyway.
That time?
Oh, yes, once in my life. A light slap, if I remember.
You hurt me.
Well, you've been bad.
I was a kid. Kids don't know anything.
Where's your mum and Katie?
He was asking, you or your girlfriend? These beans have got mould in them. How can you live like this?
Where are you off to now?
Listen, if you cared, you'd have asked me before now. Then why up?
Well, look, at least get Katie to keep in touch. Give me a phone or something, will you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm going to have to come back to my surgery for a more thorough examination.
Kenneth Trant is coming in for questioning, sir.
Willingly. Very willingly. Smug bastard. He's as guilty as hell. We're going right to the edge for the rest of that family, but they all draw the line at Kenneth. Totally obedient. But I'll crack him. I know I can. Cocky at me.
You know, I worked out the other day that in my years at the school, between 30 and 40,000 pupils have been through my hands. And there have been tragedies along the way. Leukemia, car crash, climbing accident on a school trip. And now this. And you don't always know the pupils very well when you can't know them all. You always feel it anyway, like one of your own.
It's different in this case, though. In this case, you did know the student.
Yes, as I've explained.
Yeah, and you must have known her better than most of your students. She was in your fellowship.
Well, I dare say, yes.
She must have spoken to you.
Of course.
What about?
Oh, usually matters affecting the church, Bible studies.
Not about school or her home.
No, not really.
Not even when you drove her home.
Drove her home?
You say you never drove her home.
From the church?
Where else?
Oh, I thought you meant from the school. Yes, of course, I drove her home from the church, once in a while.
Dark nights.
Precisely.
Yes. You introduced her to the group at Christmas.
Yes.
A lot of dark nights.
Yes.
So you must have driven her home quite a few times.
Yes, come to think of it, yes, quite often. As you say, after all, I introduced her, and being her headmaster,
Yes.
felt responsible.
Did she talk in the car?
No, she was a very quiet child.
What age was she?
You don't know her age.
No, you called her a child.
She was 17. She had her GCSEs.
Young woman, I'd say, wouldn't you?
Yes.
When I was 17, I would have been most offended for you to think of me as a child.
Well, of course, girls mature more quickly than boys. You know that.
I should think she welcomed the chance to talk with an older man. I mean, fathers are no good, and boys your own age are worse than useless.
Well, that may be, but she didn't say much.
I was desperate for someone like that. A sort of uncle.
So why no kids yourself?
I've had 40,000 children.
Not the same as having one of your own.
I've had a full and fulfilling life.
And your wife?
She's had a busy life. She does a lot of voluntary work.
You miss out, though.
No, I would say no, not really.
No. No, I suppose you can get quite close to some of your kids.
Not in that way.
What way?
Sorry?
That way. What way?
There was an insinuation.
What were you insinuating, dear Spinalligan?
Like an uncle.
Yes. You see, Joanne spoke to me before she died. She wouldn't speak to her parents. Couldn't face them. Too ashamed.
Ashamed of what?
Are you going to tell me or am I going to tell you?
I can't tell you what she was ashamed of. She was ashamed.
You noticed her at a distance at first, coming through the school gates in the morning, lining up for the dinner queue, gazing up at assembly. Slightly different from the other girls, doesn't seem to have a gang. Something rather vulnerable about her. Maybe she's getting bullied. And then one day you see her in the corridor. She's crying. She should be at lessons. You ask her what's wrong. You tell her to come and see you after school. So far, nothing strange, unusual, untoward. You're doing your job. More than your job. Concern for the pastoral welfare of your students. She's there for an hour in your study. A long chat about the pressure of family, not fitting in at school. There are tears. With smiles, too. Your heart goes out to her. You comfort her. A friendly arm around the shoulder. A friendly grasp of the hand. A friendly pat of the knee.
I get your drift, Doctor.
Good.
You're sick.
Sick as the next man, Mr. Trant. I spent a day in Joanne's company. I'm not immune to her dependence. Her softness. Her fragility.
I refuse to participate in this.
If you go now, we'll think the worst.
We will.
Well, by all means, think just that.
Yeah, thanks, by the way, Vince.
1-4.
Drake, 1 to 2. You lose the bet.
Let's start spending the winnings, eh?
No hard feelings, but we started spending it yesterday.
Oh, look, easy. Oh, don't be like that. Yay.
Hey, leave it out. Genesis 3:19. It's not a 1, it's an I. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 6. What is it, Kenneth? What will I find? The voice said, cry, and he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all the goodliness thereof.
Is as the flower of the field. Very good, Dr. Fitzgerald. Now, how may we help you?
She believed you when you told her she was special, didn't she?
You've lost me, Doctor.
You've always had a way with women, haven't you? Hasn't he, Norma? Why didn't you have an affair with her? She's in love with you. Has been for over 20 years. No, not Norma. Not a woman. Not a mature woman. You wouldn't be equal to a woman, would you? Hmm? You need youth, young flesh.
This is outrageous. Can he do this? This is a place of worship.
Did you wait till she was 16? I bet you did. I bet with your perverted sense of righteousness, you didn't touch her till she was of age.
I'll sue you. You get out now. You leave us in peace, or I'll sue you for every penny you've got.
She respected you. She thought you were showing her respect. She thought the sun shone out your arse.
Any teacher will tell you it is a hazard of the profession. In the same way, Doctor, as a patient may become emotionally attached to a psychologist, may find themselves convinced that the relationship goes beyond the professional, projecting their fantasies onto the therapist. Now, Joanne Barnes was a lonely child. Perhaps she was looking for a special relationship. Perhaps she found it. But it was not me.
You had sex with Joanne. She got pregnant. Was that the problem, Was that why you attacked her? Was that why you stuffed her full of paracetamol, poured gin down and defiled her body? Was that it? Because she was a danger to all this, your church, your power?
I drove Joanne Barnes home a few times, and on the basis of this, I am being accused of rape and murder.
I didn't hear any mention of rape.
I had no relationship with Joanne Barnes.
Then who did?
You know who did. You had him in custody. Dean Saunders, that vicious little psychopath. Now, this man is desperate because he had the real killer in custody and he made a dreadful mess of things, didn't you? You drove him to his death in a police cell. Do not project your guilt onto me. I conceal nothing.
Dean Saunders didn't write that graffiti on her. You did. And what does it mean? What were you thinking of when you wrote all that graffiti all over her body? The instant before the universe began. The chaos beyond the blank wall. That boiling mass of space and time. No law, no meaning, no past, no future. The Big Bang. The instant that the universe was created. The beginning and the end of life, sex and death. Your obsession. You see sex and death in sex, and beyond that, nothing. That's what your equations tell me, Kenneth. You got no belief in God.
Thank you, Dr. Fitzgerald. Let us continue. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion...
You're having a crisis of faith, Kenneth.
And
100
he
years
that
too late.
remaineth in Jerusalem
Is God
shall
or
be
nothing?
called
You cannot
holy,
have
even
both.
everyone that is written as living in Jerusalem. I believe. I believe. I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I will extol thee, O Lord.
Your religion is a sham. An act of theatre for your dreams of power. Until one day, you start to lose control. And that godlike demeanor starts to deconstruct. And what have you got left? A desperate grope and a hopeless shag in a godless universe.
And the voice said, cry. And he said, what shall I cry? O merciful and forgiving God, cleanse our sins. You are made holy by absolving me. Raise your spirits and forgive. Forgive. Forgive.
They cannot absolve you till you confess. Confess to me. Say it. I'll forgive you.
I did it. I tormented her. I disgraced her. I cleansed her and sent her to her God.
And Norma?
Michael.
Yeah.
And Virginia?
Yes.
And Kenneth?
Yes.
Is a liar.
And Dean?
No. They wanted me to dispose of Joanne. Package her. I asked Dean to help. He let her go. I knew he would. He'd not hurt anyone. Never Joanne. Dean was absolutely innocent. He always was.
And you'd be prepared to make a statement to that effect?
Oh, yes.
What made you so sure
About what?
that he'd crack?
I wasn't. He didn't. He won't. He won't confess.
And now that we got the statement,
Nah, he'll deny all that. He'll blame Michael and Dean and say it was nothing to do with him. And the women will back him.